Совсем печальный район, да? Восемнадцатый. Враг моего врага, мой друг. Я думаю, его как-то можно было сжечь. Просто в наглую загасил. Так, ну вурдалаков-то гасить однозначно надо. Так мало опыта дали за этого 18-го вурдалака, блин. Так, ладно, зайдем пока сюда. Куда нас все-таки ведет свет изначально или откуда? Здесь тоже открывается, да?
It's locked.
Help! Some damn strangers are attacking me!
А как, если я вампир, как я отражаюсь в зеркале?
Braille. I need someone who can read this.
What? It's all right, sir. You're safe now.
Oh, a fellow Englishman. Thank you, sir. For a moment, I thought those bloody heathens had killed me.
What are you doing here? This place is not safe.
Yeah, it's a cesspool, but it's mine. I came to collect some overdue rent, but those who still live here have gone completely bonkers.
You're very lucky to be alive.
Yeah, filthy immigrants. Fucking savages, every one of them. And now with this bloody fever, they're just animals.
You can find safety of sorts in Whitechapel. If you're quick and cautious, you'll be able to avoid the savages.
This is despicable.
Так, ну, помогли жителю. Тяжелое состояние района.
There's one of them! Watch yourself!
I can't believe I'm doing this.
More and more of these bloody leeches every night. Aye, but the guards recruit more and more every year.
When did you
Вот, их надо было просто убить, и потом можно тогда заходить в дверь, иначе не пройдешь, когда они тебя видят. Все ясно.
Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind lady. The Ashbury's black. Hell. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow. Are you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
Do you know Nurse Doc?
Never heard of her. She's pretty.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication? All right. Perhaps the poor drunk just confused you.
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off. Go find yourself another guide.
What happened?
Hey!
All right.
Sod off, mister.
It's true.
I said...
I found the recruiter you were expecting. He's dead, but he carried a note. The Wet Boot Boys have accepted your application.
I knew it! I told you I was tough enough. I'll be free soon.
Free? You may soon find out that you have simply traded one set of shackles for another.
You're all fancy words, none of which concern me. Go worry about someone else. I'm fine and I've a future here.
Goodbye, young man.
I won't end up another drunk arsehole littering the streets. Not me.
Someday you'll understand. You've wasted your life away. What?
Shooting a boy in the middle of a street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd...
No. Look, I'm not a violent man.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy?
Funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
What can you tell me about that?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live, and this is where I live now.
You mean you used to have a...
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have...
You don't have anywhere to go? No family that would welcome you?
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's mother. She was sick, you see. Long before the flu and all this shit.
Perhaps you could...
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole my pills. Everything's coming up roses.
Whatever...
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that I'm sick.
What is it, Benjamin?
The doctors called me a liar, a coward. Put me in a...
Yes. Sounds like shell shock. I've seen a few...
I'm not ashamed. I just need my pills. Peace and quiet, that's all.
A gun?
I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley reeking worse than a weak... cold lavvy.
It's locked, all right.
How are you, boy?
I'm not your boy, all right? Now piss off.
Do you need assistance?
Please. Feeling tired these days.
There you go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
Very funny.
Goodbye, young man.
The wet boots will be proud of me. I won't end up another drunk arsehole littering the streets.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
I'd like to see what kind... I'd like to see...
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid. Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Do you need help, sir? Do you need help, sir?
I only need you to purchase something from my...
Have you heard of...
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit. and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Goodbye for now.
I should never have taken up my father's business.
Excuse me, sir.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the...
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
According to you, physicians are
not familiar with this neighborhood, are you?
This part of town does have quite a reputation.
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
Can I offer you my medical expertise, Mr. Peterson?
The name is Colossus Joe.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
It's locked.
Will not protect you, for there is no protection against malevolence and...
Forgive my
Do not apologize, my son. Father...
I am Dr. Jonathan.
A scientist? You...
Do you...
I don't like the liberal ideas.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane?
Before coming to London, she was a
So, you're not exactly a fan of
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients.
What do you mean when you say that I am more...
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you?
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men.
Really? And what would be your answer to this?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Tell me, Tobias, what
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has...
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you...
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is...
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time...
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
What do you mean?
Also,
quite a...
you...
I am. What do you mean? Quite...
you...
Well,
as a
what do you...
The beast...
Really?
We must...
What is...
Cleanse...
What... Quite...
you...
What...
The beast...
I have heard an... Good evening.
It's
Have you any friends?
No.
Where did you send...
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during...
As a true believer. Samuel...
I have heard an... Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
I served in France. Our top priority...
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untop...
Have you any idea?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
What is a journalist doing in the...
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the...
That's quite honorable of you. But is the...
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth?
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything involving public health and this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious, never goes out, doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No, except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Step away, sir. Are you stupid? Burn it, boy!
Good evening. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you. Very well.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter. I cannot enter.
Good evening, sir.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding...
Really? Are you...
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott at...
May I ask what you're doing at this?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night...
But are you not a...
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time...
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go...
What are your thoughts on the...
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so...
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave.
Most people fail to understand my perspective.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come.
If some misfortune came upon you...
Well, you for a start, my dear doctor.
I understand your need for solitude.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor. And my...
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in what...
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and...
In what way?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the arid hunger.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the...
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write.
Do you not think it a little...
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't...
And have you ever tried to learn more about her?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out that...
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she...
Did you know the mute florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir. For it only enriches the mystery surrounding the pressure.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic.
Guilty as charged, Dr. Rick.
Are you not curious? Is
that girl has not an ounce of malice in her. Whatever she may be hiding.
May I ask you a few questions about the district? I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills. I'll leave you.
Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
I'm cheap and I'm clean, I promise.
Right, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.